This thing just went a little weird on me.
Hear the sulphur river flows, rising when the storm cloud blows.
Quiet the 70s music down.
Where the creature goes.
Alright. I am Pumpkin Jack, and I'm coming out of the Ghastly Hallows. Today I'm accompanied with...
Fucking
cryptid fish.
Sasquatch Red.
Beep bolt.
Beep beep bolt. That's right. Oh boy.
But
It's Bigfoot.
I haven't met my new neighbors yet, but that probably just gave them a clue as to who I am.
Cool.
Cool.
It's gonna be like an episode of The Simpsons. Marge, please! Like, using the kiddie pool.
Marge, can I go find Bigfoot?
Homie, there is no Bigfoot.
Dad, I'll go find Bigfoot with you. I can't do Bart's voice. Bart
It's a very
kind of
unique
really
voice.
doesn't
Bart.
have a voice that you can do.
Bart
He
and
doesn't really have a voice that you
Lisa.
can do.
They're both very unique
Yeah.
voices. Bart and Lisa. You can't do them.
Yeah.
Once in a while, when I'm drunk, I can do Krusty the Clown. It's very fitting because it's Krusty the Clown. Whom I'm learning. Every day I get older, and the more I listen back to our episodes of the podcast, I realize that I am becoming Krusty the Clown every other day. I don't know if that's a good thing, but it's a thing that's happening around here. Especially with my vitriol towards people that I don't like. It's just a thing that's happening. So let me move my microphone a little closer. I'm not typing anything anymore, so you guys can.
All right, it's time to talk about horror or something.
It's time to talk about Bigfoot. Bigfoot out of my... Hey, kids, how's it going?
You're talking about Bigfoot in my store. You're talking about Bigfoot in my store.
Oh, that's tough. Tough for you, neckbeard. That's what we're talking about today. Bigfoot! Hold on one second here. Can't do Krusty the Clown without being accompanied, but... Where's my applause button? Boo! Move my applause button. It got rid of my applause sounds.
I didn't pay them to do that, I swear. Scout's honor. I know.
Is the microphone picking it up?
There we go.
Okay. I never know what this microphone is going to pick up.
This guy stinks!
We need a tech day.
Hey, were you trying to pick something else up? All I know is I was trying my best here to get these things off. Oh, why? What does it not pop up on my regular thing? Oh, it's back. Thank God. It's back. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, today we are discussing...
Opening question for you guys. Do you guys exist?
No.
Yes.
You don't.
You don't exist.
Okay.
You're a fucking
We have
robot. Is everything gone quiet all of a sudden? Did I make a lie?
You
I'm waiting for
spoke an
go with
unfaceable truth.
Mm-hmm.
You spoke a truth that we just can't bear. That's why we're silent.
This is true. Oh, boy.
Yeah. Okay, so exists this movie. This movie exists. I know that.
Unfortunately, this movie exists against all odds.
Okay. So today we are talking about the 2015 found footage film Exists, which is directed by Eduardo Sanchez, who was the co-director of the Blair Witch Project. And this is, not only is it a found footage movie, but it is a Bigfoot found footage movie. So it is wading into two horror genres of mostly ill repute. What could go wrong?
In this case, for these kids, everything. From their acting abilities to their fates. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Thank you for reminding me. I did want to talk about the acting.
Oh boy.
I sometimes feel a little funny talking about the acting because it's like you're talking about people's work, but you know, it's a podcast about movies. We're supposed to just say what we think about the work, right?
Yep. That's what we're here for.
Movies.
We're here to crush dreams.
And talk shit about people for a 10-year-old movie.
Friendly critics. It's right, yeah. It's 10 years old. Just let it die. Don't.
Well, there's rumors of a sequel out there, so...
Really?
Why?
So,
oh my god. Yeah.
alright, so let's get into this one. Today we're talking about 2014's Exists, brought to us by Eduardo Sanchez. 2014. Brought to us by Eduardo Sanchez of Blair Witch Project fame. And it shows that he needs a partner when he has one, because, oh boy. So, in this one today, one of the major things we're discussing about was the premises. Very simple. Bunch of kids go out into the woods to have a good time at a cabin. Eduardo Sanchez thought it was 1997 again, so they run over something. Oh no. It turns out to be a baby Sasquatch. They say, nothing can come of this major scientific find. And they continue to go on and party in the woods. To which Sasquatch gets pissed and kills them.
But they don't know that it's a baby Sasquatch when they first hit it.
Yeah, but it's a big, isn't it? Don't they find the corpse is like a little monkey or something? Like I can't remember. Yeah, at the end. Like they hit something and they don't think enough to call authorities and be like, let's go sort this out.
Yeah, you kind of just straight to the ending, right?
Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's a Bigfoot movie. Is it a major twist? I'm actually telling people to stay away from this one. So, it's not even funny in the ironic sense, like Flesh Eater. Like, at least Flesh Eater was funny and stupid. This isn't even funny or stupid. This is somebody trying their best to do a fucking Bigfoot movie, and he took it too serious. You're not supposed to take a Bigfoot movie serious. Harry and the Hendersons fucked that up for us years ago. And that other guy with the mountain, whatever the fuck his name was, long enough to get your number, he hung out with the Sasquatch on that show. It's over. Nobody will take a Bigfoot movie seriously ever again. Nobody. So when you try to take these movies seriously, you fuck up. You're pretentious. There, I said it. That's what I really think and feel.
Breathe. It's just a Bigfoot.
Fucking. Alright, that's what I really think and feel. Fucking Bigfoot. So, yeah. That was the plot of Exist. They go hang out at the cabin, start getting bumped off.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, you now have the floor.
No, but here is what happens in the movie. Okay, so let's start from the beginning and commentate as we go. This will be like a Mystery Science Theater summary. Jack just shuddered. Okay, so you got 5 friends. They drive out into remote East Texas to stay at a cabin. There's 2 brothers, Brian and Matt. They've also got Matt's girlfriend, Dora, and a couple of their friends, Todd and Elizabeth. And they're drinking along the way. Matt's driving, and they hit something on the road, which later, you know what it turns out to be later, but okay. They find blood on the bumper, but they never find what it is. Okay, so that's important. They don't know what they hit. But they do hear cries in the woods, though. So they did hear something. Then they come down to a tree blocking the road, and they have to continue on foot. Now, here's something about this movie that I actually do appreciate. In most Bigfoot movies, so most Bigfoot movies, as far as I can tell, are horror movies. And most of the time, they're just using the Bigfoot thing as like a way of creating another monster. But the interesting thing about... So, confession, if people didn't already know this, I think we've talked to it a little bit on the podcast before, but if people didn't know this, I love Bigfoot stuff. I can't get enough of Bigfoot stuff. I just love it. I am almost certain that it's not real, but I really do enjoy just like listening to Bigfoot podcasts, watching Bigfoot movies, reading Bigfoot books. It's just something that I really enjoy. But if you look at most Sasquatch reports, they don't involve the thing behaving like a savage. They don't involve the thing being like an aggressive, cartoonish monster. They involve most of the reports just describe it as like it's acting like an animal. It's acting like an ape, or maybe it's acting like a bear. You know, like it's just walking by the water, or it's on the side of a mountain and it's pulling ground squirrels out of the ground and eating them. You know, like it's hunting, it's foraging. It's most of the reports just have it being like an animal. And this movie does a good job of making the Bigfoot scary, but also making it behave in a way that does line up with what reports show and what like the quote unquote real Bigfoot is like.
Hello, H.
And it seems to sorry?
No, hello H Center in our chat.
Yes, hello. And this is the first instance of, I think it taking a note from quote unquote actual Bigfoot behavior, because sometimes what Bigfoots will do, and this is actually an example of some aggressive behavior that is reported, is they will push down dead trees towards people if they're being territorial or if they're provoked or something like that. So having a downed tree in the road actually does seem like something that you could argue, like, you know, okay, maybe something like this would happen. This does sound like something that you would find in one of the more reasonable reports.
Okay. So basically, of all the made-up reports of Bigfoot, this was the one that matches the more realistic, plausible ones. Gotcha.
Yes. So yeah. I'm sure many of them are made up. But I think, you know, for the most, well, I don't know, maybe not for the most part, but a lot of people do think that they saw something, and they're probably just mistaken, or their imagination is running wild, or
so
they thought they got a better look at it than they actually did.
So I'm not one to dismiss outright cryptids, right? Because there actually have been situations where they have been explained, and some of them have been discovered. It's just, it turns out to be something that you never think you would see, right? Actually, this week I found out about a cryptid on the American outback that was found. The red camel, or the devil's camel.
Where is this?
Camel. There was a red camel that was the devil's camel, or something like that. The red devil camel. Let me just see if I can find the story exactly, because I had it here. In Arizona, there was this, they used to call it the ghost camel or something like that, because there is a small tidbit of history, right? But this was considered a cryptid up until like the early 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s. So this was still in the era of expansion, and they had to get supplies across the desert in the U.S. This general, I think it was MacArthur, he found out, you know what's a lot better? Instead of getting a bunch of horses to do it, because horses can't really seem to traverse this comfortably, we should get a bunch of camels brought in, and we can actually ride the camels and carry the supplies, and this will be a much better unit for the army to have to help transport things across the desert. Let's do this. And they did. They had like 70 camels to test it out. So, somewhere or another, all these camels, like, they only did it once, because then at this point the railroads were already being built, so it's not practical to buy more camels. And then there was a bunch of camels in the U.S. that were kind of like all over the place, right? They were sold off, some were released because they couldn't really take care of them anymore, so on and so forth. So at some point in Arizona, there was this reports of this camel monster that had a skeleton on its back. And people thought it was like some kind of like Hell Ghost Rider-esque fucking camel that was out there terrorizing people, because there was a dead soldier on the top of the camel that had rotted away, and it was like on the top of the camel, like stiff and shit, and the camel is now without like a dude to ride it. So what winds up happening is this thing gets out there and it starts terrorizing people, because camels, believe it or not, are actually fucking vicious in the wild if they're left to their own devices. So, no, we're not having picnic with fucking Bigfoot. I said it out loud, chat. I'm seeing this whole thing for years. So anyway, back to the story of the camel. This corpse is actually on this camel, and this thing is terrorizing people, and people are seeing it, but they can't, there's no pictures yet, they can't confirm what it is, but there are encounters of, like, rustlers who go out to track it down, and they try to tame it, but they can't, because a camel, although slower than a horse, it is stronger, and you can't really rustle a cattle like that. So they recovered the bones in 1 year, because I guess they finally rotted off of the camel. And then a farmer happens to see the camel drinking water, and he's like, this thing is red. It has weird streaks on its back. It looks at me. It looked vicious. So he's like, I did the one thing any good God-fearing American Christian would do. I shot him. And that was the end of the reign of the ghost camel of the American desert. So, I mean, that technically is a cryptid story, and then they found a reasonable thing for it, right?
Well, so, cryptozoology is the study of unknown animals. Mm-hmm. So that's an example of an animal where it's like, maybe it's out there, maybe it's not. And that's, that's a plausible one. That's a plausible story. There's, cryptid stories, explanations for cryptid stories that go something like, it was just like an unusual animal for the area, or it was an animal in an unusual state. So I think maybe we mentioned this before, but the Mothman in Point Pleasant was a story about a man who was winged, and he was flying around Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and a bunch of people had stories about it. One explanation for that is that it was a sandhill crane that got lost from its migration route. So sandhill cranes, they're these kind of stork-like birds. They're maybe about like 5 feet tall, and they have red eyes. And they migrate. Their migratory routes are usually like the Midwest, the West. They usually don't go as far east as West Virginia, but sometimes birds get lost from their flock, and they end up in a very weird area. And when birds get lost, they can get lost in a very, very unusual place, because like when you fly, you can travel very far. So getting lost flying, you can end up in a very unusual place. So the idea is that, people were seeing this bird that they didn't recognize. It's a tall bird. It's a tall winged thing with red eyes. So they thought that it was some monster, and that kind of just turned into the Mothman. But yeah, stories like that. There was a video from a few years ago of what was supposed to be a chupacabra, but it was just like a coyote that had mange.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Just for reference sake, anybody looking along, this is what the crane in question looks like right here.
Yes.
It has kind of the similar build. If you look at it real close, it's the red the red feathers, the big red thing inside. It's pretty winged. If it's not from your region, you might think it's something else entirely. So, just for we can actually have image now and use image to our advantage, as well as this.
Power of
That's right. So let me put that
power
away.
of canned sound.
Mm-hmm. We're not on old time radio. So yeah, I figured I should show everybody that. I think they'd be fun. They'd find that one interesting. But
Yeah.
the thing is that I tell this to people too. If it's not really Bigfoot, Bigfoot is just a safety blanket, man. It might be something scarier out there in the middle of the woods that's more realistic and confirmed. AKA some human high on PCP who's just been out there in the wild, left to his own devices for a while. He ate the wrong berries.
Question. Does he have an infinite supply of PCP? You would think he will run out after a certain point, no?
If he finds the right bush with the right hallucinogenic berries, I think he's set for life. It's like those crazy people that start drinking salt water. I don't know if you heard about that. You drink salt water, make you go fucking nuts.
Really? I've
Yeah.
never heard that. I've been told don't drink it, but I thought that was just because
It
I
dehydrates
don't know,
you.
you
It's
don't-
also
you
extremely
want-
toxic. You shouldn't really drink salt water. So when you drink
No.
it, it's like laced with shitloads of pollutants. So when you drink it, it dehydrates you, and then it makes you see shit. Think about it. How much dumping do we do into the ocean on a daily basis?
Here's what just happened in my mind. You said it makes you see shit. But I thought that you were using a term "see shit," as in like, there's a certain kind of diarrhea that you get at sea from drinking salt water.
No, that's easy.
Arr, don't drink the water lest you see shit.
Gerd.
It's for the
Brother, this guy stinks!
I've been all
Who's the
week,
voice
folks.
actor on that?
I have
Who's
no
the voice
idea who
actor?
that
I
voice
wanna
actor is, but he's awesome.
I want to congratulate that guy. He's in the credits somewhere for additional voices.
He has to be.
Maybe it's Tom Kenny.
It'd be funny
It
if it
doesn't
is.
sound like Tom Kenny. I don't think Tom Kenny can go that like guttural.
No, he can't. But yes. So back to the subject of cryptids and things that could be out there in the real world. In all seriousness, though, I go back to the original point. I honestly think it's sometimes you think there's monsters out there. It's actually a lot nicer to think there might be a monster out there. And in reality, it's just some crazy guy who has a trailer set up in the middle of the woods somewhere. And, you know, he doesn't like you camping too close to his property. But, yes. So, on the subject of this one.
But like I was saying, most Bigfoot reports don't portray it as a monster. It's just in most of the reports, it's just behaving like a normal animal. So if it's some sort of like psychological protection mechanism against the real horrors of the real world, then why doesn't it behave more like a monster? Why doesn't it behave more like a caricature?
I mean, do you want me to give you what I honestly think could have been Bigfoot? Like,
Sure,
there's
yeah.
a bunch of realistic theories out there that I've read. So, I went to the Dallas Museum like 5 years ago, and they had an exhibit on something called Homo naledi. Like, Homo naledi is one of the missing links now, like between Homo erectus and then it's Homo sapien, right? Or something like that. It's like, we're Homo sapien,
Part
and
of
then
it.
Homo
Yeah,
erectus is the caveman before us, right? The Cro-Magnons and all that stuff.
We are Homo sapiens, and Homo erectus would have been. I mean, Homo erectus did exist at the same time as modern humans, which is what we are. We are Homo sapiens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So modern
Homo
man,
erectus
though,
is a very close relative of us.
yeah. So that was like the last like Neanderthal tribe, right? The Cro-Magnons, and it was Neanderthals and it was Cro-Magnons. So, anyways,
Neanderthals is a separate thing.
yeah. So I honestly think, right, when we started to come here to when the new world was discovered, a lot of the people that were occupying this place were still indigenous folks that were still more or less, passing down the stories from back in the day down to our end, right? I remember we mentioned it on here once that there were like discussions that there were like primates on totem poles, but there are no primates that are really native to North America. Like, why is there a primate on there?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
honest theory in my book is chances are those are Cro-Magnons, and a lot of people are probably passing those stories down. As the stories come down, more people are just saying they may think Bigfoot was that. If it was out there, if it is out there, there might have been like a small little pocket of tribes in the places that we can't really civilize, because there are parts of the world we can't really civilize that are too dangerous to be, and they can be fine.
Cro-Magnons weren't in the New World though.
No, not in the New World. Not Cro-Magnons in general. I mean, whatever those things were, like whatever occupied the planet back when it was still Pangea. Because I actually do believe in the whole Pangea was a thing. A lot of people are trying to disprove that now. No, tectonic shift claims Pangea was a thing.
Oh.
That's why all the planets look like they fit together.
Yes, Pangea was a thing.
Yes. So that's honestly one of my theories. They might have been here. The bodies are probably all rotted away. That's why we never found any bones. They're long gone, because I know indigenous tribes, I've always read, was a common practice to burn the bodies. Homo naledi, however, used to stack the bodies in a cave because they were still conscious enough to feel emotion. So it might have been one of those things that passed on through time, and now we are over here hearing, well, the ancients said that there was a walking primate. Now I go, yeah, there was, but it wasn't very civilized, and it's gone. It's extinct.
Yeah.
Leonard Nimoy's full of shit, man.
Depends on who you talk to. So, in the Bigfoot community, there are people that think that it is like a sister species of humans, that it has human-like intelligence, and that they're very much like people. They're just sort of like a tribe that keeps themselves very well hidden. But then there are people that think that it's just an ape. It's just an undiscovered ape. It's more or less as intelligent as a chimpanzee or a gorilla or an orangutan. It's really nothing special. The only thing that makes it different from other apes is that it walks on two legs like we do. So that's kind of a split in the Bigfoot community. It's not the only split, but it is a split.
Honestly, if it were a forest ape, we would have seen it by now.
That is kind of my thing. It's just like, I mean, I try to keep an open mind about, like, well, there's still more out there to discover. Maybe it's a little arrogant of us humans to think that we've covered every square inch of the earth and there's no more large animals to discover, but it's just I think we would have seen it. There's other rare large mammals out there, and they're rare. You hardly ever see them, but we do have pictures of them, like lynx. You hardly ever see a lynx. There's lynx specialists that have never actually seen a lynx that they didn't capture in like a remote trap or something. Hold
on a second. How can they be considered a lynx specialist if they haven't seen the damn thing for themselves?
Well, I mean, they've studied ones that have been captured. They're experts on the research that's been done on them. They look for footprints and gather environmental DNA from the footprints. They know everything that is known about what they eat, how they hunt, that kind of thing. It doesn't. You don't need to have ever directly observed the thing in order to know what is known about it.
Like the dodo or the Tasmanian tiger. Like they're gone, but people still know what their behaviors were like.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they're still exactly like you could say. I mean, how can a paleontologist say that they're an expert on dinosaurs if they've never seen one?
Yep.
I mean, they can observe the bones at least, but yeah, I get your point.
Sure. Yeah. But yeah, so I just really do think that we would have seen one by now if it was out there. We did get supposedly one really good piece of footage back in 1969. The Patterson-Gimlin footage.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is, diving into that one. That one's a fun one to dive into.
So, I'll tell you my honest opinion on that one. Hot take. It's a dude in a fucking gorilla outfit walking in the grainy 70s footage. That no matter how much you come back and you keep restoring it and keep restoring it and keep HDing it, it's still grainy from the original 8mm footage. It's just a dude walking in a gorilla outfit. I guarantee you those two guys, if they're still alive, have a beer about this and laugh every day. Like, guys, do you believe they're still looking at our footage? That's just Bill in a suit.
Like H-Center said in chat, like a really hairy dude.
Probably is a really hairy dude. Really,
it's
really
actually, so the consensus among Bigfoot folks is that it's actually a female Sasquatch. Because you can see that it has breasts.
Oh. Wait, how can... You know what? I'm not going to ask that. I'm not going to ask that bad question.
Who's looking at the Sasquatch's boobs in that footage? That's the type of person I don't want to hang around. Oh, boy.
Where's my heroin? I'm going to need this.
Now I'm wondering when they ate the last dodo.
Did they eat dodos?
Yeah, people ate dodos. They were a delicacy.
Okay.
We're a delicacy.
They're a kind of pigeon. Or they were. They were just like a giant, flightless, slow, fearless...
When have pigeons ever been considered a delicacy? Like, what the heck?
Actually, there's a form of pigeon that is actually a delicacy.
See, if you call it a dove, then
a pretty rat with wings. Got it.
Nice Woody Allen.
Yeah, no. Apparently, though, that is like that's why they went extinct, because they were very good eating. So hunters used to they were also very stupid. So hunters used to just go after them, and like they were easy to catch because they didn't have any defense mechanisms. They weren't smart. And then, animals would prey on them, and they were too slow to, escape. They're stupid.
Yeah, it's because they didn't have any natural predators on Mauritius.
Yeah.
So they didn't. So they didn't know to be afraid of humans. They didn't know to be afraid of dogs or other stuff that would kill them. So.
Yes,
yeah, that's how that went.
That's how they died off. I think they were exclusive to like one area, and they never really bred them outside of that because they were too stupid to breed too.
Yeah, and the Tasmanian tiger, apparently those. So they were on Tasmania. They were marsupial, a marsupial that looked a lot like a wolf or a coyote, and apparently they were problems for sheep farmers. So the sheep farmers would shoot them on site, I guess, and. Eventually, that was it for the Tasmanian tiger. There is so the Tasmanian tiger has actually become a cryptid too, because there's rumors that there are still there's still a relic population of Tasmanian tigers. That's a term that you hear a lot in cryptozoology. Relic population, like something that once was a lot more common, but now exists in little pockets. So there's supposedly a relic population of Tasmanian tigers on Tasmania and on mainland Australia. And serious people who are looking into this think that mainland Australia is a bit more likely.
Yeah, I can
Maybe just
see
because
that.
there's a lot more territory to cover on mainland Australia, and the interior of Australia is basically completely uninhabited. So there's plenty of places to hide, but it's uninhabited because it's almost impossible to live there. So, could a large predator go in there? I don't know. But
Well, they're
speaking of
planning on
Australia, there's
cloning them.
also yes. Oh yes. Well, we'll see. That dire wolf thing was kind of not exact. From what I understand, it was not exactly what it advertised itself to be.
No, that was more of a weird.
It was just kind of they just more like selectively they just more genetically engineered a wolf to look like a dire wolf rather than actually resurrecting a genetic dire wolf.
Yeah, but here I'm actually reading they are talking about actually taking the genetic material that they recovered that's preserved and then seeing if they can do that to get it back in there.
Yeah, I thought they were doing something similar with the woolly mammoth. They were taking DNA from from Asian elephants.
Speaking of the woolly
kind of like making their best guesses as to like what genes would make a woolly mammoth, and they figured that an Asian elephant was the best starting point because. Fun fact, Asian elephants are actually more closely related to mammoths than they are to African elephants.
Don't they have a preserved specimen, though, for the woolly mammoth? Like a perfectly preserved one that was found in the ice?
The woolly mammoth?
It's a baby.
So they have found, like, fully preserved mammoths. Like, there was that baby mammoth that they found, I don't know how many years ago. There were scientists that found frozen mammoth meat, and they ate some.
Ew.
Why? Why would you do that?
Oh, they used to eat. Believe it or not, people used to eat mummy sarcophaguses. I'm not fucking with you. That was a thing.
That sounds like a health hazard.
It was, but they used to think it was like some kind of life extension or whatever the fuck. They were going around eating anything but take pills. Like, I'll eat a corpse, but it's natural. But I will not take penicillin because I don't believe in penicillin. Fucking people.
Okay, no. What you have to do is just tell them that it's loaded with preservatives because it
was. They were the original embalmers. Fuck you people. Anyway,
so let's talk about this movie.
Yeah,
talk about this movie.
Since we were discovering things frozen in the ice, that relations to this movie, I can actually take us back there. So, this movie in itself, the plot is very fucking generic. It's just they go in the cabin. The Bigfoot comes, starts killing a bunch of them. Some of them get killed in very funny ways. Some of them kill in very stupid ways, and hilarity ensues. So, interesting thing about this movie though is it's a rewrite. It's a rewritten script, and I mentioned before they want to do a sequel because the guy who reminds me of Tom Green somehow manages to escape Bigfoot and gets he does the 3 crouches on the way out bolt. And then Bigfoot felt sorry for him and let him escape the gate. Green. So Tom Green escapes, and he lives to fight another day.
No, he would have only been he would only have reminded you of Tom Green if he started like sucking on the Bigfoot's tit.
He kind of almost did. He was willing to do anything to not die.
Tom Green.
Good sir, I'm going to ask you to never repeat those words in that arrangement ever again. Or any arrangement ever again.
He was like, Bigfoot, would you like some sausage?
Tom Jerk.
Bigfoot, would you like some sausage?
No, you remember in Family Guy, it's Tom Green sucking on a cow's...
People like me?
And he turns to the camera and says, people like me now? Yeah.
Can I stop this? Well, anyways, back to where I was. So the original plot.
Edit that out.
The original plot of this movie was supposed to be about Russian Bigfoot hunters. It was supposed to be a big production film. Russian Bigfoot hunters going into the wilderness to actually hunt after Bigfoot in a sort of docu-series. That's what it was about. And then they were supposed to find Bigfoot, a tribe of Bigfoots, and there was supposed to be them versus, Russian Bigfoot, right? However you're supposed to refer to them. Sasquatch is big feet, whatever. But anyways, they are debating the idea now of explain this. They're debating the idea now of the sequel being that when Tom Green made it out, I forget his real fucking name in the movie, that the sequel will be him going along with the team of the Russian Bigfoot hunters, sort of like a Ripley for the first Alien, right? And then Aliens 2, like they go in a shooting gallery with that. The idea is he'll accompany them because he's the only person who survived an encounter with Bigfoot, right? So that's the plot that they have. But the original story was supposed to be them going into Russia to actually face off and find Bigfoot. The reason why I bring that up
I did not know that.
Yeah, I figured that. I learned about that on the back end of this one. So the reason why I bring that up is because I'll have a controversial take. I don't believe in Bigfoot. That's not controversial at all. A lot of people don't. But
No.
I do think the Yeti might be real.
Why do you say that?
The reports for Yeti activity has actually never stopped. Whereas here in the U.S., if somebody finds a Bigfoot, here in the U.S., but somebody auctioned a fucking sandwich with a picture of the Virgin Mary or Jesus on it or something, and that came out of the U.S. on eBay. We believe anything and everything here because we just don't like to face reality, right? But everywhere else around the world where things really get really shitty, people accept reality and they move forward because, gotta make the best of it. In parts of Malaysia, a lot of people of people with a good reputation have actually gone around claiming that, yeah, there is something here. And there are reports in those parts of the world of soldiers actually encountering something. And the only thing we actually have, which would be a good found footage movie in my opinion, there is a story of a couple of soldiers in the 60s, Russian soldiers in the 60s, that were on their way somewhere, and then the platoon basically got stopped by a snowstorm. So they're stuck in the forest on a snowstorm, and they had to set up camp. And the journal keeps talking about how every day one of their guys would go missing. And in the beginning, they thought it was just the snow. But it wasn't the snow. After a while, one guy says he saw something large and sort of furry in the woods, and it attacked one of them. And these are soldiers that are trying to take this thing on, but because you can't see through the snowstorm, they're kind of screwed. So they can only really see when they're inside the tent, and they have to leave the tent to go get supplies. And this journal was recovered because obviously, right, they are not on an isolated trail, they're on a path, but the storm stopped them. So when the second group of people came, they found all these soldiers dead with just the journal of yeah, something was picking us off bit by bit. And the last dude was pretty much found frozen, holding it. I looked it up, and that's not a bullshit story. It's actually a recognized account that's been translated. But there are stories of wild creatures in that part of the world. Another one also is Indian soldiers do an expedition through the Himalayas. It's kind of a tribute for when they were under British rule for 200 years. The rebels would do it, so they kind of do it as a tradition. And the soldiers all agreed in conclusion that these footsteps that they found did not match Himalayan bear prints. And they saw something furry leave these footprints behind. They took pictures of it, and they took it back home. And they put that report in, that they saw that. They did it so that the wildlife conservation can go and start figuring, hey, yeah, maybe you guys should go look into this. The locals didn't look at it, and the news kind of just made fun of them for it, but they're like, yeah, you can make fun of us all you want. We know we sound nuts, but we found this, and we think you guys should go check it out because there's something there.
We know what we saw.
We know what we saw, and these are soldiers. Like, again, right, if it were Uncle Paco who's trying to sell the story to the news station, fine. But these are like, yeah, it's always Uncle Paco. So, yo, mire, chupacabra! Like, it's always these fucking people here on this side of the world. But on that side of the world, it's not like that. Like, on that side of the world, like,
that would be really funny if that's what they said on that side of the world.
Yeah. But you hear people like talk about it. You hear monks who have to take charge of these mountains out that they handle the temples out in the Himalayas. They also say like, yeah, we see shit in the snow all the time. So to me, it's like, all right, you have a collective amount of communities saying they see something. These people, okay, oh, well, if they saw it, why don't they film it? These are the real remote parts of the world, man. You live in the first world where everybody has a drone, everybody has a camera. Because they're going to see it. In those parts of the world, good luck even making it 10 feet out. Like, there's one guy I used to follow on Facebook. This was his actual tag name. Asian guy who lived out by, I think it was not Siberia. I used to know the name, but his name is Blacks, right? It's this Asian guy. That was the name of the channel, Blacks. And he would show himself, like, cooking out in the middle of nowhere, like, this really, like, frozen meat that it looks like you could hit a dude over the head and knock him down with it clean. And he's showing, like, yeah, that's how you survive in, like, these parts of the world. I wish I could figure out what country it's in. But those are places where you can't really be there. So Bigfoot and Yeti used to be friends. I saw that guy on YouTube with the blogs. Yeti betrayed Bigfoot, so Bigfoot left the mountains. Bigfoot has all the hair to keep it warm. Yeah, that's an actual blog channel on YouTube right now. He got abducted by aliens. That's the last one I saw. This is so funny, so stupid.
What the?
Bigfoot and Yeti can be friends. That's what the
That's actually a thing. I'll send you guys the channel vid links later. I will off air. But in my honest,
This sounds like a Netflix video.
Yeah, well, that's something that I actually have heard in this whole arena of cryptozoology is that you hear stories from local folks, be they people that live way out in the sticks or indigenous people. And the stories are like, they're talking about an actual animal. Like, they're not talking about a religious belief. They're talking about an animal. They have stories about its behavior. They have stories about what it eats. It's just like it doesn't really seem to be something that's part of a religious or a spiritual tradition. It seems to be like just an animal that we don't know about, but because there are people that live in those parts of the world, they know about it. Now, you mentioned Malaysia, so Yeti is in the Himalayas.
Himalayas. So there we go. My mistake.
Yes. Yeah. So Yeti is in the Himalayas, but in Malaysia, in that part of the world, you've got the orang pendek, which is a smaller Bigfoot. It's a small tropical Bigfoot. And if you talk to some of the maybe higher-minded cryptozoologists, the people that write the books, it's at least Lauren Coleman, the guy who runs the Portland Museum of the International Cryptozoology Museum that I talked about a few years ago here. He thinks that of all the Bigfoots out there, the orang pendek is the one that's most likely to be real.
Isn't that the Hobbit?
So the hobbits were actually real.
Yeah, they were real.
Homo floresiensis. Yeah. On the island, it's the island Flores, I believe. Yeah, but yeah, like but that was a human species. Yeah, so that was part of the Homo genus, and they were humans that were small in stature, and they existed up until like I think it was just like maybe like 100,000 years ago, less, something like that. Maybe 50,000 years, I think. Actually, is when they supposedly were last around.
Yeah, I mean, so for anybody who thinks
Yeah.
that we might
Yeah.
sound a little nuts that these things exist and they might not have existed, I'll give you an example from Japan, because this one actually crossed my feed the other day, because I'm like, oh, this works. We're talking about extinct animals and I feel like cryptids and extinct animals kind of walk hand in hand sometimes. Have you guys ever heard of the ghost wolf?
Sorry?
Have you ever heard of the ghost wolf?
The ghost wolf?
Yeah, the ghost wolf in Japan.
No.
So there was a legend in feudal Japan times where there was a wolf. They called it the ghost wolf because it would silently walk next to you on the road. It wouldn't attack you. It would just kind of walk you until you got to where you had to go, kind of like a spirit, like a guiding spirit, and then it would leave. This was an actual wolf, and they actually do have stuffed versions of it, right? Because it went extinct. But I think it was like a couple years ago. This guy, it was right before the pandemic. This guy was walking on this forest park path. I'll actually pull up the thing right here, because he filmed it. See, this is what I mean. Nowadays you see it because this guy filmed this shit. He didn't hesitate. Pull this up real quick and I'll show you the picture. So this guy was walking, and then this wolf started walking next to him. And this wolf matches more or less the description of the ghost wolf that went extinct. See, look, there's a clear shot of it on the side. And then when you look at, see if I can find, here we go.
Similar in size.
And then here we go. That's the
Wow.
one, and this
It's
is
a
the
pretty
one
animal.
that supposedly they have preserved
Yeah.
right here. That's the same damn picture. Where's the one of him in the museum? Douchebags. Just pull it up so the audience can see. It just keeps bringing me back to this article. Pain in the ass. But anyways,
another reason to go to Japan. Have full ghosts.
so this animal was seen, and then the guy who recorded it, he went nuts. He's like, yo, I might have actually found oh, here we go.
The ghost wolf.
He's like, I might have seen it. And then there was another sighting in 96. This sighting here, and this picture is from 96. So that means that there is a pocket species out there. We have just not found it yet.
Yeah.
There we go. So see, that's the preserved
Yeah,
one.
that's exactly. I'm surprised I don't know about this. But this is exactly what I was talking about before. A relic population.
Yeah. And it fit what
Yeah.
it was doing. It wasn't attacking the guy. It was also dark, so it had the drop on him. So the guy, like in the footage, you actually see the guy's like recording, and then the flashlight, and you see the dog is just walking next. The wolf is walking next to him.
Mm-hmm.
The wolf walks next to him. He moves along, and then when he makes it out of the park, the wolf just darts off into the bush, and he's gone. So this guy's like, we saw this. And then he went nuts, and they started putting up drones, cameras, anything to try and catch the pictures of this, but they couldn't. They
couldn't find any more. Interesting.
Just the one time.
Wow.
And he hadn't recorded it.
Here's something to think about. This is Japan. Japan is smaller than North America.
Yeah.
So if they lost this thing in Japan and they couldn't find it, then maybe there's some hope for there being an elusive ape in North America, which has a lot more landmass, and I think just proportionately a lot more wilderness than Japan. I might be wrong about that. I'm not sure exactly what the layout of Japan is when it comes to wilderness versus civilization, but yeah, that's really interesting. I did not know about that.
Yeah. So For anybody who thinks, right, we sound like we're off our fucking rocker, like right there in Japan, there's a spotted.
There are ideas. There are ideas about what Bigfoot might be, like naturalistically. So there's the people that are a little out there. They're all out there. Let's be real. But the people that are maybe a little more out there are the ones that say that it's a trans-dimensional being. That's why we can't find one, is because it can appear and disappear at will. And
the guy who said that, his wife is cheating on him with John Redcorn. Let's just be real here.
What?
Yeah, you heard me.
They're like,
Hank, have you ever heard the term Gigantopithecus?
so the idea among the more biologically, more scientifically minded folks is that Bigfoot is a relic population of Gigantopithecus. And Gigantopithecus was, I believe, as far as we know, the largest primate to have ever existed. It was a massive ape. It was bigger than gorillas, and it was an Asian species. The way that we discovered it actually was there were teeth being sold in just like a little market in China. They were being sold as dragon teeth, but I think it was an anthropologist came across them, and he was like, "Wait a minute, these are like ape teeth. What is this?" And they discovered that it was actually like fossilized ape teeth, and because of just what we know about the proportions of apes, they were able to extrapolate how big this thing must have been based on the teeth. They initially found teeth, then later I think found a piece of a jawbone. So putting together these teeth and the jawbone, they were able to extrapolate how big this thing must have been, and it was massive. And they said, and some of the people that are some of the scientifically minded people that are open-minded about Bigfoot say that we have precedent for a massive ape, an ape that would have been about the size that we think that Bigfoot is. So it could be that Bigfoot is a relic population of Gigantopithecus. And the only thing is that we don't know if it was bipedal or not, whether it walked on two legs or not, because as far as we know, we are the only primates that walk on two legs, as like the standard form of locomotion. All of the other apes, for the most part, walk on all fours. Gorillas, chimps, and bonobos walk on their knuckles. Orangutans walk on the sides of their hands. Monkeys, African monkeys, and Central and South American monkeys walk on their walk on their palms. But we walk on two legs, and as far as we know, we're the only ones that do that. But it's possible that there could have been primates that are extinct that we don't have complete skeletons of that also walked on two legs.
Homo naledi walked on two legs. Oh, but hey, he was a humanoid.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So I should clarify. Walking on two legs is unique, as far as we know, among primates. It's unique to the human line. So I guess I misspoke before. We, as in Homo sapiens, are not the are not the only primate species that has walked on two legs. But as far as we know, the only primates that walk on two legs are in the human line. So us and other members, not just of Homo actually, because you also have earlier human ancestors that earlier human ancestors that predate Homo. So you have Australopithecus afarensis, who is, I believe that's Lucy. You know who I mean by Lucy?
What?
Yeah.
Isn't that the one that the homos hung around with to make sure that people didn't know their secrets? That the one? That Lucy?
I don't know what you're talking about, but it's a famous fossil. It's a famous fossil that was discovered in Ethiopia, and I believe it is the earliest. It's the earliest individual that we have from. It's the earliest member of the human line. So about 5 to 6 million years ago, we split from chimpanzees, and off chimpanzees went to do their own evolution thing, but we went off in the other direction. And early, like soon after that split, we looked very ape-like, and but eventually we started walking on two legs. And Lucy was a very ape-like human human relative, at least, that was very ape-like, but also walked on two legs.
Gotcha. While I was here, I took the moment to look up the missing link, because I remember, like, as a kid, that was always the thing. They're like, missing link, and then, like, now they've officially dismissed the idea of linear evolution and started to point out, like, no, evolution is branched out. I mean, there is another relative of the woolly mammoth walking around today, right? It's just not an elephant, but it's a relative of the elephant, of the woolly mammoth.
Is it a hyrax?
It's a large mammoth. It's not a mammoth. It's a large mammal that a lot of people don't know is a mammal. Because kids don't know it's a mammal.
Is it a manatee?
Whale.
A whale, okay.
Whales are potentially descendants of mammoths. Because in the prehistoric age, when they would run from predators at times, they would run into the sea and stay there. And some of them would stay more sea-bound or something like that.
Yeah, whales are related to hoofed mammals, so ungulates. Well, because actually hippopotamuses are more closely related to whales than they are to anything else.
Interesting. You see, all of this is way more interesting than this fucking movie about Bigfoot killing some kids. You see that? There's more to be talked about than this terrible fucking movie about Bigfoot killing some kids. It is what it is. These kids killed Bigfoot's kid, and then Bigfoot got vengeance, and they somehow managed to make this boring. I honestly think this movie would have been much better had they just filmed it straight up instead of doing found footage. That way it could have gone a little more gory with the kills. It could have seen Bigfoot actually rip somebody's fucking arm out.
Let's just talk about the problems that the found footage genre creates. And so I mentioned last time when we talked about the Blair Witch Project that they did a good job of making it seem plausible that all of this would be happening with the cameras rolling, because they were making a documentary, and whenever like Josh tells Heather, like, turn that fucking camera off, she says something like, well, this is a documentary, and we're not just documenting the subject matter, we're documenting our experience as a crew. We're documenting our journey. And because she was portrayed as like this very ambitious filmmaker, it just seemed plausible that she would keep the cameras rolling even when things got tough. And then you have that scene which we talked about where Josh is like, saying, where he's they've gotten lost, and he's mocking her and trying to make her feel really guilty by shoving the camera in her face and saying, well, not really shoving, but he's filming her and he's saying, like, you've gotten your friends lost, we're all gonna die, that's your motivation, go. So it was sort of like the fact of the cameras rolling was really woven into the story of Blair Witch, such that there were never really moments where I'm like, why is the camera still on? It's stupid that the camera is still on. But in this movie, it's the whole movie, basically, where I'm just like, why is this being filmed? Why is this being filmed? There are moments where let me look at my notes, but towards the ending, when okay, I guess we're just gonna skip to the ending, but they're hiding from the Bigfoot in a trailer, and the Bigfoot rolls the trailer down a hill, and there's three people inside. There's Brian, the guy who's doing all of the filming. There's his brother Matt and his brother Matt's girlfriend Dora. And when the trailer has rolled down the hill and Brian is getting his bearings, he's still alive. His brother Matt is dead from the impact, and Dora is barely alive. And he sees Dora dying, like the lights going out of her eyes. She's bleeding out of her mouth, and you can hear him crying in his voice, and he's saying and he's saying her name with the inflection of someone who's watching a loved one die. But the fucking camera's on. He's filming her dying. It's just like, what kind of sicko would do that? What kind of sicko would be holding a camera in your dying friend's face? It makes me hate this guy. I don't.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I'm like, why is the camera in her face, brother? Like, the proper thing that most people do is, for cinematic effect, right, was a found footage movie, you throw the camera to the side. Like, you do this. Oh no! Oh no! Camera goes this way.
You put the camera down and you comfort your friend. You don't take away your friend's dignity by filming them die. It's just sort of like, this guy's making a snuff film.
Yeah, you sick bastard.
It's like, it actually is kind of wicked. But
but that's why he gets to live. No, that's why he gets to live. He killed everyone else, and he made it out alive. That's how you're supposed to do it. You craft the formula.
Oh, this is the first time I actually saw someone make it out. Most of the time, these movies, people don't make it out.
Why do you think the Bigfoot let him live?
So, I actually saw that in some of the behind-the-scenes stuff I found. Bigfoot actually does have a real motivation in this one, right? They killed her kid.
Yes.
And Bigfoot, they found the graveyard, too, which shows that there's a bigger one, which implies that was the mate. So that means that this is the last Bigfoot. So, basically, Bigfoot is not stupid. That's the first thing that they're trying to point out. This Bigfoot is not stupid. It's actually very smart. It's close to the level of human intelligence, which is why a lot of the stuff that it does is more or less it's more or less plotted out. It knows what a gun is. It knows what the gun does. So when the black guy's name I forgot right off the top of my head pulls out the gun, the rifle, it knew that, oh, they have a gun now. So in the cover of darkness, it starts throwing rocks to make them waste the ammo, because they know it's going to shoot out into the wild. It was surprised. If you notice, right, when the guy's aiming out in the middle of the dark and he can't. It was a horrible shot, by the way. Like, that scene was terribly shot. I could not fucking make out what was happening on the screen. Until they zoom in a little bit more. I'm like, oh.
Found footage is protected from that criticism.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. I'm still gonna say it on my end though. It was still that. That was a terrible shot. Like, even for found footage standards, I've seen some shitty found footage movies. That was the worst shot I'd ever seen. So I couldn't make out what was on the screen. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, whatever. So
they sure found some bad footage.
Oh, they sure did. Actually, you know what the worst part about it is? That it's not that it was found. That asshole just left it out there in the woods. He survived and went back to go get it. So, anyways, this as this is all going on, if you've noticed, right, when the dude is pointing the gun directly at Bigfoot and he has a drop on him, Bigfoot doesn't charge regardless at him, right? Like, he's trying to figure out, can I or can't I? Is this guy scared to fire the shot? Does he have bullets? Do I feel lucky, punk? Is what Bigfoot is thinking, and he charges. Or she charges, the chick Bigfoot is moving. And the dude nails it in the shoulder. So, that's all to say that in the final sequence, when Tom Green and Bigfoot look at each other, Tom Green realizes that he has hurt Bigfoot with his actions. Bigfoot, also now satiated for blood after killing the uncle who was minding his own business to try to help this asshole, then comes back and realizes she has also shed enough blood. And when the dude says, "I'm sorry," Bigfoot understands and forgives him. And that's the final scene. That's why he lets him go. You know what the original ending for this piece of shit was supposed to be? It was even worse.
What?
The original ending was, he points the gun at Bigfoot, cut to black.
Ow. A Sopranos cop-out.
Yeah, it wasn't cool when the Sopranos did it. It's not cool when you do it, dumbass. Fucking movie. I had a hard time watching this one. I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
It took me a while. I took a few tries getting into it.
A couple things. So, a couple things on that. I completely agree that I do. That's what I was going for before when I was saying that Bigfoot behaves a little more realistically, quote unquote, in this movie because it's or at least differently than other movies. Because the other movies, it's just a monster that's doing monster things, but in this one, it has a motivation. It has like you can attribute real emotions to this thing, and you can kind of see where it's coming from. And back to just the theme of the movie incorporating actual Bigfoot behavior, quote unquote. There are reports of it throwing rocks. So that's real. That is in the reports. And actually, that's one of the parallels with actual primate behavior. Because chimps will do the same thing. Chimps throw rocks as an intimidation behavior. Which is really unique among animals. Like, apes are really the only animals that can throw things, that can like pick up an object and throw it. But also when you see the baby Bigfoot at the end, it's arranged in kind of a ritualistic way with those tree roots around it. One of the explanations that's offered for why we don't have any bones, we don't have any bodies, is that they bury their dead. So the idea of a deceased Bigfoot being presented in a particular way, that is kind of in line with the way that with some of the stories about Bigfoot. And that was something that I kind of liked about the movie, is that it feels kind of more like the Bigfoot that I know. It feels more like my Bigfoot. The way that it was portrayed on the Discovery Channel documentaries and the Animal Planet shows, where it's just like it's an animal, but it's a really special kind of animal. It's a human-like animal, that was just sort of that I did find that aspect of it refreshing because whenever I'm in the mood to watch a random Bigfoot movie, I often just get like, it's a monster in the woods, and it's like, well, that's not really interesting. It would be more interesting if you actually kind of took in some of the nuances of Bigfoot lore and portrayed it not as just a monster in the woods, but a primate, some sort of primate that abides by more believable rules, that has a personality, and perspective, and if you just incorporated more of the Bigfoot lore into it. And that's just my personal taste, because I'm really into Bigfoot stuff. But that's what I have to say about it.
Well, I will say one positive thing about this movie. That scene when he was throwing the rocks was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I actually did like that scene.
Yeah. What about the bike chasing scene?
He had it coming.
Wait, whoa, why? Why did the brother have it coming when he was trying to get everyone out of a situation that him and his brother brought them into?
He should have left.
That's exactly what I was going to say. But
make the fucking call and leave. Just keep going further out. Don't come back until you got more guys with guns in there to help you out. Don't just turn around like, okay, I will go wait in the cabin with him. You asked for it. You had to come. So,
I thought that scene was genuinely scary, where he's being chased on the bike, where you see the Bigfoot like running at this kind of impossible speed. Well, not impossible, because like a grizzly bear can outrun someone on a bike. But just like hearing it crash through the trees, and just like hearing and just like seeing it rushing, but seeing it but not getting a good look at it, and like hearing the screams and that was another thing about it that seemed genuine, is that the vocalizations of the Bigfoot sounded like a primate. It sounded like either a person with a really raspy voice yelling, or like something like hooting that you would hear from a chimpanzee. That part of it seemed more ape-like, which I also liked. But yeah, that scene with the bike chasing, that like actually kind of had me spooked. That was good.
So how they did that?
How?
So the growling noises is actually a voice actor. It's not the guy in the suit. And what they did
was... Is it Frank Welker?
No, I can't remember who it was. But they had the guy doing these voices off screen. And then what they wound up doing was that they did the things off screen is while he's in the camera, they have the track playing. They play the noises to convey the sound, but they had to do it in such a way where the microphone can kind of pick it up, but doesn't sound overdubbed. But also what this guy did too to save the movie a bunch of times, because he had to cut this movie a few times to try and save it. He also had to cut out dialogue or add dialogue in, so that this way it didn't seem like people weren't. So with sound footage, you can play around that when they're off camera, they can talk, and you can't really tell the difference.
Sure, yeah.
So he did a lot of that.
There's a lot more off camera talk.
He did a lot of that.
Yeah.
With this one. And this grunting is a part of that. Like, it's all added into the track, but it's effective. I will say the sound was very effective on this one.
Yeah.
And,
there's some ways in which it kind of elevates the Blair Witch origin, but for the most part, it's just kind of like it's just not the same magic. Like it does not feel realistic the way that Blair Witch did. There's no way that anyone would be fooled by this movie. I can understand people being fooled by Blair Witch, thinking that it was real, but he's not really. I don't think that Sanchez was really trying.
He wasn't trying with that one.
Make people think.
Oh, this one he wasn't trying that.
Yeah.
I actually, again, because I got to see that bit of the behind-the-scenes stuff. With this one, his deal was he wanted more so for people to enjoy this like a monster movie. That's what he was after.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
Yeah, and I didn't think that he was literally trying to fool anybody. I'm saying that you can watch Blair Witch, knowing for a fact that it's not real, and still it really feels real. This movie does not feel real at all. Like it does. It's kind of amazing how he managed to make a found footage movie that doesn't feel real at all.
Yeah, and that was actually part of his design. He was like, he made this one in homage to what a lot of people consider to be the best Bigfoot movie of all time, which was The Legend of Boggy Creek. That's the one that everybody is up in arms for, Legend of Boggy Creek. That's the one. Yeah. So this one, he made it in that vein of trying to live up to this one. Yeah, he made it in the vein of living up to Boggy Creek. And he says what he liked about that one was that it was a loose monster movie. And this one, he wanted it to be a monster movie. He admitted, too, that his worst mistake was the characters seemed to be unlikable because they spent a lot of time fighting with each other. So he had to go back and trim that down so that it would be more or less kind of likable. I will say my favorite death in this movie, though, was the black guy. The black guy's death was a little, I was like, ugh. That actually is kind of fucking savage. He threw him at the, he's like, cool. Finally. I thought when he threw the bike, I thought he was throwing the biker at the cabin. I'm like, cool. And then he didn't. He just threw a bike. I'm like, God damn it. I thought he threw the guy at the house. It would have been so cool.
Excuse me. He just used him as bait. He used him as bait, which I'm like, that was interesting. I'm like, I'm trying to understand. Like, I mean, yeah, that was another show intelligence, even though the first instance of that was when he destroyed their vehicle, their only means of escape.
Yeah.
And then he decides to go and chuck the bike. It's like, it's to emphasize the point, like, you're not leaving here alive unless I say so.
Pretty much, and that's what I thought was pretty cool about it. But I thought that was cool when he threw the bike. I'm like, oh, cool. And then I thought it was a dead body, and then when it's just the bike, I'm like, God damn it. Throw the corpse. Follow through. Just throw the corpse. It's cool.
He heard your prayers. He heard your request.
Yeah, they threw the black guy at the trailer. I was like, cool. This is what I came here to see. Bigfoot be all kind of like, I understand he's like somewhat cognizant, but I wanted to see him like smash people around and shit. Savagely. That's what I want to see a Bigfoot movie do. He smashed
the brother's leg, though.
The brother fell on the bike like a dick. You had it coming.
Yeah, but then he smashed that guy's leg afterwards. Because that's when you thought he died, but like, no, he smashed his leg and took him back to the lair, which I'm like, what's with the sadistic route? Like, what? He can't run. You know he can't run. Why are you keeping him alive? Unless you're using him as bait.
That's exactly why he did it. He knew there was bait.
But that means he or she planned for them to not kill him at the cabin.
They did, yeah. They knew. Like I said, we were just talking about that 5 seconds ago. Sleepy Bolt. This Bigfoot is actually tactical. It knows what it's doing.
No, but like that was already evident. But like the finding the brother's thing was after the failed attempt on the cabin, because this Bigfoot attacked the cabin twice technically. Once before she took out the car, and the second time was when she basically was ripping that place apart and found out, oh, they have a gun. But by that point, the brother was already captured.
Yes, he was. And he was horribly murdered in that RV. Which, you know, as soon as they saw that RV was about to flip, right, I'm like, you know, there is safety protocols inside an RV in case it flips, right? It's not an uncommon thing for that to happen. You're supposed to just hang on.
Yeah, but you think they know that. Also, you want to clarify to just the viewer? Because what you said out of context sounds crazy.
Okay, so the one black guy in this movie, you know, he had other things to say other than damn shit and that is whack. He actually had a character arc. He goes out to do something with the flares at the cabin. I completely tuned out what he was talking about. I just know he runs out of the cabin with something strapped to his back, and then the Bigfoot finds him. Sasquatch finds him. And then Sasquatch starts pummeling the ever-loving shit out of him as he tries to outrun him. And he's yelling at Sasquatch, "Get off me, man! Get off me!" Like, Sasquatch gives a fuck. So he's yelling at him to get off him, and he gets bludgeoned. Yeah. Sasquatch bludgeons him to death, and then he picks him up and throws him at the trailer. I'm like, cool! That's what I wanted to see. Somebody get pummeled to death. That's what fucking Bigfoot is supposed to do. And it was cool. He like picked it. He like picked up his corpse. He hurled it at the door, and then he went and flipped over the trailer. And like they went down the hill. They're idiots. They didn't just hold on. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go to the doorway, stick your hands on the doorway like this, and then you hang on as it flips around because you can hold on to the door as it's to pressure yourself against the door and hold on. But no, it's just stupid people.
It's okay.
All this could have been avoided with a fucking I'm sorry. That's the moral of this movie. Everything here could have been avoided with a simple I'm sorry. Fucking.
Or not driving at night.
Yeah, anyways.
Apologies.
Why were they driving at night?
They got there late. They were partying. They're crazy kids. Wild and crazy kids. They were too busy doing their thing before they couldn't get their act together. They're on vacation too. Come on. Give them a break.
Driving at night to the middle of the fucking woods. Once again, they have it coming. Driving around in the middle of the woods at night like that for.
That was No, those two brothers. I mean, especially Brian, the guy who's filming, or Tom Green. I'm sorry, especially Tom Green. Really shitty. They took their friends out there to the cabin, having lied to their uncle, or not even lied to their uncle. They stole their uncle's keys because it's their uncle's cabin, and they didn't tell their friends that they didn't have permission from their uncle to go out to this cabin, and that nobody knows that they're out there, and there's no cell service. So, not cool. Also, Tom Green is filming Todd and Liz having sex in the woods.
Yeah, anyways,
and that's when he first footage. What a perv. I felt like Sanchez might know about the problem of why the hell is this guy filming all this stuff, and I think that maybe that scene was meant to establish Tom Green as this like obsessive filmmaker who just can't put the camera down, because even Tom Green, as he's filming Todd and Liz having sex, he's like, I'm totally going to hell for this. It's just like, I feel like maybe that was supposed to tell us that this is a guy that's just so obsessive that he just can't put the camera down, and that makes it more believable as to why he's filming everything, but I don't know, it still doesn't work.
Yeah, perv is still a perv.
Sorry?
A perv is still a perv no matter how much you try to explain away his reasoning.
Yes. A perv is a perv, and that's it. So, but while we're comparing it to the Blair Witch Project, one thing that I do want to say is that I thought that it was kind of fun how Sanchez is doing, I think, deliberate allusions to the Blair Witch Project. Like he's echoing Blair Witch, because this was his first found footage film since Blair Witch at that time, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that this was his first. This is his first one. But let me see. But yeah, so you've got so when Matt gets captured by the Bigfoot, so in that bike scene, when that ends, you think that he's dead. But when the other three go out and try to find help on their own, they're out there at night and they hear Matt's voice crying out from the woods. And I'm just like, oh, that's like Josh. That's like what happens with Josh in Blair Witch when he disappears, and then Heather and whatever the other guy's name is, I forgot what his name is. But they start hearing Josh's voice crying out. And in Exists, it turns out that the Bigfoot has kidnapped Matt, and they eventually find him, only for him to then die later. But I thought that, okay, that's an interesting kind of like allusion to Blair Witch. And then later when they're kind of deep in the Bigfoot's territory, they see a tree pulled out from the ground and stuck in upside down. And that kind of gave me the same flavor as seeing the stick sculptures in Blair Witch. You're kind of seeing this ritualistic territory marker almost. In Blair Witch, it's not clear exactly what that's for. Maybe it's like a site where rituals go on or something. But both of them have this kind of like eerie. They're like an eerie symbol of something dark going on in a place out in the woods. And that scene also kind of ties into actual, again, quote unquote, Bigfoot stuff, because what some Bigfooters will look for when they're out in the woods is tree structures, they call them. So sometimes Bigfoots will supposedly take a tree and bend it in a certain way. They'll break branches at the top. You know, they'll make kind of these arches out of trees, supposedly. So that scene was kind of, I saw that as kind of a version of a tree structure, but turned way up and made into something scary and menacing, but also something that was kind of meant to give you a Blair Witch flavor. So I thought that you could see it as Sanchez just recycling material, but I thought that it was I took it as intentional allusions to his first film. So that was kind of fun to see.
So that actually was intended to be an homage to the Blair Witch.
Both of those examples,
yeah,
that I said,
yeah,
the tree structure and the calling out in the woods, yeah,
it was his homage to it, and a lot of people, for some reason, all walked out and said that this movie still keeps him at the top of the mountain in the found footage genre. I puked a little bit when they said that, but they said that this kept him at the top of the mountain. I'm like, yeah,
it's not a genre that really has that much to offer, honestly. So
the thing is, here in the U.S., a lot of the U.S. movies suck as a whole compared to everywhere else around the world. Whenever we do something here, we fuck it up. I'll give you a good found footage movie that describes this in one shot. You ever heard of Wreck? It's a Spanish found footage movie. You might have heard of the American equivalent. It's a movie called Quarantine. Like in 06. Yes. Yeah, Wreck was the Spanish version in Barcelona. The sequel was way better than what they did here. Out here they just put it straight to video and they put the same outbreak on a plane. Stupid. The sequel, though, follows like minutes after the first one ends, when the SWAT team goes in to clear the zombies out. And it's actually a really great film. I'm actually going to put that as number 5 in my best found footage films of all time. Because you're swallowing the SWAT GoPro camera as they're going in and fighting the zombies. It's pretty fun to see. But here in the States, we do stuff like this. I'm going to point a gun, but I'm still going to hold the camera somehow like this so that the barrel looks like I'm playing Doom.
Oh, stupid. It's so stupid.
I have an idea. They're raiding... New York is under attack by a gigantic kaiju. We're going to record me trying to get to my girlfriend's house as all my friends follow me along. Fucking Cloverfield, I'm looking at you. Oh yeah, we really... And then you know what the worst part about that fucking movie was? Cloverfield, their soldiers are like riding up and they're about to have this huge showdown with the monster. And this asshole holding the camera, instead of like moving the camera this way to see the bullets hit the monster, is pointing the camera at his fucking friends across the street. I see you. I see you. And his friends are like actually in the movie yelling, point that way, dipshit. The cool stuff is happening over there. J.J. Abrams decides, so no, it's a good directorial idea to forget all that shit and focus this way. Well, like when we did Godzilla in 2014, this big monster and Godzilla are about to start but fighting, and no, we have to sit down and watch Kick-Ass and Walter White talk for like 10 minutes. In the middle of the fight, that's what we want to see. We come to see Godzilla, not you assholes talk and make jokes for 30 minutes. Fuck you. I hate Hollywood. Add Hollywood to the list.
Oh, that's a big one.
Oh, that's too big, actually.
That's a big one, yeah.
You can't add the whole entirety of Hollywood.
Fine. Add J.J. Abrams to the list.
Not gonna do it. J.J. Abrams. Okay, fine. I liked Super 8. I think that's a good movie.
I skipped. Actually, that wasn't really his. That was the other guy's. He presented that one. Wasn't Super 8 the fucking Josh Tranks or something? Oh, no. Josh Trank had that Immortals movie. And then he got screwed when he did Fantastic.
Didn't he direct Super 8?
No, he did Super 8. I'm just remembering because Super 8 was what got him another big franchise that he then turned down. But, yeah. Add that to the list. I just need to take it out on somebody. And fucking J.J. Abrams will be the one I take it out on.
Okay, so we're adding J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, fuck him and fuck Lost.
J.J. Abrams to Okay.
There it is.
Everybody stop talking. Everybody stop. Okay. So are we...
Yes.
Are we adding J.J. Abrams to the list? Okay.
Fuck him and fuck Lost.
For those who don't know, this list is our enemies of the podcast list.
Mm-hmm.
Other podcasts talk about friends of the podcast. We have enemies of the podcast. In fact, we have no friends of the podcast, and that's thanks to you, Jack.
Actually, no. Dylan Clark is our friend, so is Arlie Grind, and we have other friends of this podcast. Fuck J.J. Abrams and fuck Hulk Hogan.
All right. Okay. I'm fine.
Add the ghost of Hulk Hogan to the list, too, while you're at it. Fuck Hulk Hogan.
They're the same person. You can add them twice.
So you want Hulk Hogan and the ghost of Hulk Hogan on the list?
Just add ghost to it, because he only has one ghost. His corpse is where it needs to be. Okay. Fuck Hulk Hogan. He took a shit on Hollywood, too.
Oh, my goodness.
So yes, that's my gripe with Hollywood. I said my positive thing. Any other thoughts you guys have on this piece of shit? I'm sorry, it took me 3 attempts to watch this movie. I'm not lying. It took me 3 attempts.
What?
Yes, 3 attempts. When we talked about it last night, I hadn't finished it yet. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
I have to do this. I have to do this for the podcast. For the podcast! And I fucking went through it today when I came home finally. Oof.
Red, can you remember what was the last movie that had me feeling this way? It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember.
Well, feeling how?
Like, so literally
Justin
disgusted.
Viewer. Hogan can't get a pass in the afterlife. I hope he's burning in hell. Fuck Hulk Hogan.
Go back to the catalog.
So anyways, you guys ought to add a counter every time I say fuck Hulk Hogan. Fuck him. So anyways.
No, we need a counter for every time you mention something that you hate. Or the word fuck this and insert name here.
Well, anyways, fuck this movie. I can safely say I will never watch it again.
Yeah.
I finally hit an impasse where I disagree with Good Bad Flicks. This movie sucked. Yeah. He led me astray on this one. Any thoughts you gentlemen may have to add to this debacle that was a film? Sort of. I don't even consider it a film. It's just a fucking series of events that happen on the camera. That's it. Not go easy. Go on. Alright, you're making me pull out the thing.
No. Yeah, I'll go. And Red can close us out. I'd like to take a moment of silence for the young Sasquatch that died to a car going maybe 30 miles per hour in the woods. Like, come on, like. I'm pretty sure this baby Sasquatch had night vision. How the hell you not see the car coming at you?
Well, he's
Like,
dead.
I
So
figured that thing would at least be somewhat tanky. Like, it's this moment of silence for that stupid child of a Sasquatch. Yeah, that's all I have.
Okay.
I'm gonna sign up that
No
fucking Sasquatch.
No Sasquatches were harmed in the making of this film.
One died in the film. One literally died in the
It
film.
was actually a little person that was blending
In
into
the
suit.
Yes, just a viewer. Add this movie to the enemies of the podcast list because why not? We haven't done a movie yet.
Yeah, can a movie be your enemy?
Paul Blart,
It
yeah.
is now.
I hate Paul Blart
Paul
Mall
Blart.
Cop.
Oh yes, yes.
I have
No,
hated that
Paul Blart
movie.
is definitely
Add Paul Blart to
your
the
enemy.
list.
Not Paul. I think it might be already on there.
Should
Do
be.
you want Paul Blart the film or Paul Blart the character on the list?
Just add the movie. That adds him in there too.
The movie.
Fuck Paul
But that
Blart.
also adds everyone in the movie too. They did nothing
Fuck
wrong.
everybody that was in that piece of shit. They'll have it coming.
Why not even bother?
And fuck Hollywood again for giving that a green light. They gave that 2 movies. Paul Blart got 2 movies, and there's a third one apparently in production somewhere. They're like, hey, Hollywood.
No way. No way.
I read that somewhere. There's rumors part 3 is underway, and all we want to do is see Brendan Fraser ride. We want to see Brendan Fraser ride one more time against the Mummy, but they don't want to give us that. But they will give us Paul Blart 3. Fucking people. I hate Hollywood. I hate Hollywood so bad.
The Mummy is the only reboot that we're actually asking for.
We want a sequel. We just want Brendan Fraser to come back. That's all we want. We do not want to see Paul Blart do this again. We do not want to see that. We do not want to see any more Avengers movies. I'll speak for myself now, but I don't want to see those anymore. I would gladly see anything else. But no, we're going to get more of these shitty
The
movies.
Avengers is over.
Yeah, no, I wish it was. They just found a way to resurrect fucking Robert Downey Jr. again. Apparently got into a fight with another enemy of the podcast, Ryan Reynolds. That's also a blood in the headlines today. They got into a fight on set, and now people are saying that Ryan Reynolds is a piece of shit. Guess who called him being a piece of shit first? The Ghastly Hallows podcast, baby. We called him being a piece of shit first, and I threw him on my list first. Because fuck Ryan Reynolds.
Wait, so they're making another movie with Iron Man and Deadpool?
Yeah, they're making a movie with Iron Man and Deadpool in it, and apparently they got into a fight on set, and everybody's
No,
realizing
you
that
can't
this piece of
do
shit.
No. Wait, so is Tony Stark not dead, or is it like a prequel?
It's alternate universe. Don't get me started.
Fuck.
He's Doctor Doom in an alternate universe.
I was about to start talking like you.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I can't be alone on this. I'm tired of sounding like the fucking crazy guy around here who gets pissed
If
off.
that's true,
It is true.
if that's true, that's infuriating. Alternate universe.
He's supposed to be
but
Doctor
sometimes-
Doom.
Actually, sometimes the comic books would do that, wouldn't they?
They do it all the time.
They
That's why
do
there's a
alternate
Nazi
universe.
Captain America in the comic books. I'm dead serious. He was the secret Hydra agent all along.
Wait, no, I thought it was due to a cosmic cube.
I don't
Oh,
fucking know, but there's a Captain America out there that says Hail Hydra. We got a Captain America heel turn before GTA 6. You believe that shit? We got all that.
Wait, so no, but he wouldn't be Captain America. He would be Captain Third Reich.
But he's
Something like
Captain
that.
America. He was a secret
Stop.
sleeper cell Hydra agent all along.
Does he have like a swastika?
Oh
shield
no!
and
Disney
everything?
tries to make you forget that swastikas are a thing, so they use the Hail Hydra. They have the Hydra symbol on everything. So then people like me who
but
know
in
what
the
the Hydra
comic
symbol...
books-
Yeah, they have it, but they don't use the swastika anymore. They try to censor that. So then people like me who know
But
what
in
it is
the
actually
comic
use it
books-
in video games the way it's intended. To make a point.
Yeah, in the comic books, they have a swastika. Right?
Had. Now Disney owns
Had.
Marvel, and they don't want the swastika anywhere near it.
But it's like, but they're supposed to be the bad guys.
They
Like,
are. But
and
they...
like,
So now, according to the
having
Disney...
the swastika on there doesn't mean that
they
like using the swastika doesn't mean that you're endorsing Nazism. It's like it's a historical symbol, but whatever.
Yeah, it's censorship, right? They make it into
Yeah,
something
yeah.
else, so now you think it's imaginary and doesn't exist. Then people like me go ahead and get the You know it's fucked up. Hydra is supposed to be like a covert Nazi operation, right? And in Marvel Rivals,
they're supposed to be part of the.
yeah, you can actually go get the Hydra symbol and spray it on the walls. So I started using it the way that it was intended. I started spraying it on certain characters that, wouldn't be. So I'm like, you guys know this is a Nazi symbol, right? Why the fuck are you allowed to spray? Why do they allow this? Allow me to get the symbol and spray it. This is a Nazi group, but I'm allowed to go around spraying it all over the walls. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to do exactly what it's for, because I am not a goddamn poser millennial. I'm not a Gen Zer. I know exactly what Hydra is supposed to be a stand-in for, and I did it the right way. You can ask Adrian, Bolt, all the stories about that one. Right, Bolt? When I got my hands on the Hydra symbol that day. Almost got kicked off of Marvel Rivals.
Don't drag me into this.
Well, you had nothing to do with it. You were standby in the whole situation.
Don't drag me into this.
I was spraying it all
This is
over the
your rant.
Wakanda signs and shit because it's a Hydra symbol. What else am I supposed to do with it?
Stop-
Why would they
stop
give me the
reporting.
option
Stop
for it?
reporting. Oh my goodness.
Why is it reporting? They allow me to do it. But this is Hollywood, right? We eliminate the real shit, give us crappy, watered down things for feel good moments. Like this piece of shit movie. Feel good moment. Filled with a lot of pointless things. Hate this movie. Oh boy, I hate Hollywood. No wonder I watch all these other things nowadays. After this segment, we're going to go into foreign films again. Because I hate Hollywood. And I need to decompress for a little bit of Hollywood. We got at least a few more films and found footage that I think would be okay. Because I hate Hollywood. Fuck Hollywood. Boy.
Just one more note on Cloverfield. I
Yes,
was going to
ma'am.
mention this.
Yes, sir.
I went on a horrible date to see Cloverfield.
Me too.
It wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible. It was just really awkward. It was like one of my first dates. It was in high school. It did not go well. So let's not do Cloverfield.
It was my second date with the girl. We went to see Cloverfield in a group outing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it was really bad. And it's like we were with a group of people, so we couldn't even do what you do in a bad movie when you're a teenager. You just make it into a make-out movie. Because we had friends with us. I'm like, God damn it, this movie sucks. Okay. And we just started out, and I walked out. I'm like, that was a piece of shit. They're like, yeah. Never again. Fuck those movies. And then I find out after hours that you can blame her for the relationship failing. After hours, I find out she was too dizzy to watch those kinds of movies. I'm like, why didn't you say anything? We could have easily spent the money on anything else. Anything else. I just wanted to make you happy. Yeah, well. Ladies, don't make people happy by seeing shitty movies. That just doesn't work.
There you go. That's the moral lesson.
Moral lesson. And don't run over kids when driving in the middle of the night while somewhat high. That's the other moral lesson of this fucking piece of shit movie.
Yeah, that fits too.
I hated this movie. I really hated this movie. Can we do a foreign film next, please? I need to get out of Hollywood. I wanted to go into American Gothic, and this movie really pissed me off. Like, really bad.
Okay, we will go abroad for the next podcast.
Thank God. I hate this movie. All right, guys, what are your final thoughts on this one?
I've been wanting to do a foreign film anyway, so that's good.
We can stay in the found footage genre if you wish, or we can dig up some classics, like Ringu, or The Grudge. The Japanese versions were good.
Ooh.
But all I have to say is, fuck Hollywood Hulk Hogan. That was actually his name in the 90s, Hollywood Hulkster. Fuck him. All right, guys, what are your thoughts on this film? And we can close out. We can put a bullet in this one. Put it away. I don't think I've ever been that angry.
Already gave mine already. You have been. I just can't remember which episode that was on.
I think I yelled at Jennifer Aniston this bad, but not like this. This one we actually got my full.
Aside from her,
This one got the full blunt of it. At least I was laughing at how bad Flesh Eater was. I wasn't laughing with this one.
You're laughing now. Oh God! Even witch laughing. Reddit closes out quickly.
Yeah, somebody closes out. What are your final thoughts on this piece of shit? Somebody.
For the mental health of Jack, let's close this out. Okay, well, this has been Exists, covered by the Ghastly Hallows. I am Red, and I was accompanied by...
Pumpkin Jack the Clown, kids!
That laugh is unnerving. And Log Cabin Bolt.
Okay, I've been saving a straitjacket for just such an occasion. Bye, everybody!
Yeah, I can't find the Krusty the Clown theme real quick. Here we go.